Prepare yourself to be blown away by the seismic sounds and scrutiny of Aftershocks Podcast with Chris Aiken and Matt Hartnett.
All right, here we go. Aftershocks number 19. And joining us on this episode, we've got a leader in the current world of traditional heavy metal with his Fresno, California-based band Haunt. And some of you also might recognize him from his doom metal outfit Beastmaker. Guitarist and vocalist Mr. Trevor William Church. Trevor, thanks for coming on, man. You know, you're a guy here who releases a lot of music and you tour extensively, so I know this has got to be a extremely tough time during this pandemic, but I'm sure it also allows you to, time to create more music. So what have you been doing to keep yourself busy throughout this whole ordeal?
Well, I just recorded an entire record. It's out. It'll be out in actually, like, it was going to come out July 3rd, but I changed my mind because I'm done with it, and I'm just like, what am I going to do with this thing other than sit on it for an extra month? So it's going to come out on the 15th on a Monday, the worst day ever to release music. Industry standard, you would never release an album on Monday.
It's Tuesday usually, right? Yeah.
I'm not sure what day I think so, but I'm just like so fucking anti-industry standard that whatever they're doing, I'm going to do the opposite because I'm doing really well. Yeah.
Well, that's,
by myself. I mean, that's what's crazy to me is that, like, I'm doing better alone. Not saying that, like, Shadow Kingdom has been bad, but things in the past have been really bad. My dealings with Shadow Kingdom were much different. But I'm doing better now than I ever have.
Okay.
I don't have to work. I don't have to work anymore. I can just sit in my studio, record music alone, and which is basically what I wanted to do from the beginning anyways, just kind of work at my own pace instead of having to worry about other things. And I've let those things cloud my productivity and things because of ways that things are generally done. Don't want to do that anymore. So I've skewed the whole thing and been like, no more. And so I've been really busy. I'm working on right now. I'm actually working on since the album's done, Flashback, my newest record. I just regained the licensing to 2 of my EPs, Luminous Eyes and Mosaic Vision. So I'm using this new knowledge that I've acquired over the years of being a DIY recording engineer guy. And I have to have new, plates made for the vinyl to get pressed. So I'm remixing and remastering those right now to get them up to what Flashback is sounding like. Because Flashback is really this is the first album I've done where I've done pretty much everything by myself. I did the drumming. I always have written everything. I write the drums. I'm kind of like a dictator in here. It's not very pleasant because like I'm gonna sit here with my head over I'm like the worst boss, head over the shoulders the entire time. I'm like, no, that's not what I want.
Yeah.
I'm very particular because I want to get it done. I don't want. I'm not into a lot of flash. I like things very simplistic when it comes to everything. So if somebody comes in and throwing a bunch of frill in it, and I'm just like, why? I've had my dad kind of helping me with Haunt since I started Haunt, because Beastmaker, it was really hard to get that band going. We had a lot of things happen to us where it was just seemed like we were never going to get ahead. Like it just, every time something good would happen, 5 bad things would happen in its place. So I just was, my dad wasn't really that interested in Beastmaker. My dad is, he's worked with people like Don Landy, Ted Templeman, all these fucking amazing dudes. So I'm like, help me out. What do I got to do? So one thing I was showing him a lot of bands, that, he's like, who are you up against, and showing him, a lot of bands. He's like, why is there drum fills everywhere? What's all this shit? What's all this flash? Get rid of that. That's not necessary. It's not necessary in productions. And, we're talking a guy that spent, 15 years touring bands like Boston, Journey, who didn't really have, there's not a ton of flash in the drumming. If you go and listen to them, it's pretty simplistic. Maybe not the early Journey stuff, but the stuff with Steve Perry, it's pretty, straightforward. And I kind of like that a little bit more, to be honest with you, because to me, the more you put in it, the more it takes away from everybody else. It takes away from the other instruments. And I think once you guys hear Flashback and you see how I put it together, like on this one alone and just in my own realm, I feel like it's like a really strong record. My production's way better because I did everything here and I had time. I had time to get it how I wanted it, not teaching somebody as I'm going along, which has kind of been my past mistakes that have really caused me a lot of strife. So I think during this pandemic has really opened my eyes to what I'm really capable of. I didn't think before that I was really a great drummer, but I've basically lost track of years, and I'm like, I've been drumming for 8 years now. Like I have 2 drum sets in here. I've been songwriting, writing all the drums for 5 years. It's time, like my solo project is like, which I wanted Haunt to be originally. I didn't really want to like have this whole thing where there's like a lot of emotional things that happen within band units, bands are very emotional. It's like having fucking 3 or 4 other girlfriends, or wives, whichever. I wouldn't say wives, because wives that's a whole other realm.
Well, you can break up easily with band members and girlfriends, but wives, it's a different system.
Wives, you're divorced and your life's been ruined for a year or two. Breaking up with your girlfriend, maybe 3 months of heartache, and then you've moved on,
Totally.
But and it's not that with the guys. It's just more or less. It's just I'm getting older really fast. I'm a dad. I don't really like having rehearsals. I'm not really into jamming anymore. Those days are way gone. Long gone. I mean, I did plenty of it over the years, and it didn't do me any good. And here I am, been writing and doing everything for so long. Now I'm just like, why am I even trying? Like the last few records, I just did all of the guitar and just had John come into solo, and I feel like the solos got better. Like everything got better because we weren't wasting our time having him just play what I already wrote. It just didn't make any sense to me anymore. I was like, this is stupid. Come in, work on your solo, and let's get done with this. We're not even going to play all these songs. You know what I mean? It's like, It's not necessary to learn them, because I'm going to have, by the time we start touring again and things start happening again, I'm going to have like 3 more albums out.
Wow. Yeah. Well, speaking of that, man, I mean, with Flashback, this is going to be now your second LP in 6 months, which is, it's just crazy. You definitely have a very unconventional way of releasing your music. So what's the method to that, madness of you releasing so much? I mean, with both bands,
Mind Freeze was done this time last year. They made me wait. They wanted to wait to put it out because it was going to coincide with us having the decibel cover and things. So those things were already put in place as I was done with it. And there was already talks of it, and I was just like, all right, well, whatever. If this is going to land me on a cover, I'll wait. Yeah. I wanted to put it out immediately. I was like, I already had started writing. I mean, like I said, I had 2 albums, and this time, my vision, I guess, is really what, to answer your question, well, my vision is for many years, is to be kind of hot off the press. That's why we started, me and Andy, the drummer Beastmaker, that's why we started doing recordings. He has his own studio too and does all kinds of stuff. And we've been just feeding off each other's energy for 5 years. And we're starting to get good. Sometimes it takes a while to learn from your bullshit, and people are like, you should go work. I've had plenty of offers to go into like big studios, and I could just do it anyway. But to me, I'm like, well, in order for me to really do that, I need a way bigger budget than what any label is, because I'm not going to record a record in Fresno. If I'm going to record here, I'm just going to do it myself, because there's nobody here worth a fucking shit, dude, to be honest with you. Not to like shit on anybody, but like no name anybody's, and I'll be in their studio for 3 months because I write everything while I record it. I'm not exactly like been sitting on a stockpile of riffs or anything. I am recording them as I'm going along, and it's way different. It's just a different thing, man. I think I'm more of a dude that would be like Elliott Smith in the kind of indie acoustic guitar genre, except I don't do drugs, and other than weed, I don't consider it really a drug, but don't drink. So I'm just super productive. I mean, I'm not out on the weekends partying. I'm a dad. I'm like, I have a studio in my backyard. This is the party to me.
Nice.
So I'm able to really crank out a lot of shit. And since I play everything too, I don't have to really sit around. And I'm at a point in my life where I'm way more comfortable leading the way and leading the path of what I want to do. And if it's releasing, I mean, some people say, well, you put out too much. But to me, I'm like, well, one day it's going to end. It's already ended for another band that I was in, Beastmaker. Haunt will end eventually as well.
Sure.
You know, that's just the nature of things. I'll try to keep it going as long as I can. But as an artist, like, there's going to be a point in time where things will change. It's not right now, but then when that day does happen and people are like, oh, I wish you would do this, I'd be like, you got fucking 12 albums to listen to. Go and absorb it all. You know what I mean? Absorb it. Like, there's no point in, like, looking back at that and going, what's wrong with that? I have other projects I'm involved in, Hysteria as well. And we're working on new stuff as well. So it just doesn't end there. And I'm not even the main dude in that. I'm playing bass. I'm playing the Get No Chicks instrument in that band. You know? I'm not afraid to be in the back seat. You know what I mean? To me, a musical project that sounds good to my ears and is fun is what I want to be doing.
Sure. Do you worry at all that by giving so much music so fast that you don't that you make it harder to build a fan base, though, because you don't make them ever want something new? It's always there.
Oh, they're fucking buying this stuff up like crazy. This new record is my best-selling record so far, and it's not even out. So yeah, I wouldn't really agree with that. And we also live in a way different time. Everybody now, they want instant information, instant fun, instant everything. Sure. If I could put out an album every month, people would be into it. At least the people that are following me is like, fuck yeah. Because new is always better than old, man.
Right.
That shit gets fucking old. You know what I mean? Like, I like to, even though there's albums I love just listening to over and over again, if my favorite band, God damn it, somebody's calling me. Let me decline this. If my favorite band was dropping records, like a couple records a year, I wouldn't be crying about it.
Sure.
I don't think I could do more than 2. The only reason this year it's going to be an odd one, like 3 albums, is because I waited on Mind Freeze.
Okay. Right.
So that's kind of a thing, and it's like bands in the 70s put out 2 albums a year all the time.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, and it worked.
I can't really do much more than that, because once the touring starts and my life regains its momentum, that's going to be basically where I'm at. And at this point, I don't even have any new songs. So once this next record's done, I'm at fucking ground zero for the first time in my musical career, to be honest with you. Before this, I'm always playing catch up with how many songs I have. This will be the first time where I'm like, well, I don't have any songs.
Sure. Do you think that for Haunt, specifically for Haunt, do you think that the success of a band like Night Demon right now opens the door for you? I'm not comparing you to it, other than there are some similarities in sound. Do you think that opens the door for expanding the listenership of Haunt?
I think whatever bands are doing that are making things happen right now, which there's a lot of them, I think any door opened is going to be helpful, I suppose. even though in the beginning it wasn't even a band like Night Demon that helped put us on the fucking map. It was actually a thrash metal band, Municipal Waste.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would say that any band that is kind of in heavy metal that takes us under their wing is opening the door, you know. Now Night Demon, I'm really good friends with Jarvis, and we talk a lot. He's a good friend. They do great things and super helpful. So I definitely like how hard he works. We're very like-minded in that sense of like, you know, just what we're doing. We just want to create our own. We don't want to be a part of somebody else.
Sure.
You know, I don't want to be part of a record label. I want my own label. I want to do all my own stuff. I want to own my music. That way I could sit here and fucking do an interview and work on music and be a dad and do all the stuff that I do, because when I have to go with the label, then I have to go back to having a job.
Right.
Because there's just not, I mean, we're not in the era of where they're not making 150,000 physical units for just a starter band anymore.
Sure.
So you're not even in the same league anymore. So I've learned to navigate through this. And I just think that it's weird to me because, again, we're talking about the new wave of traditional heavy metal thing. And when I started Haunt, I never even heard of it.
Now you guys
I didn't even know what that was. And I've said this many times. I had already done Luminous Eyes. I had no fucking clue what I mean, I'm not big on, like, I'm not a YouTube person where I'm, like, on that shit searching for things. Somebody was like, I got tagged in it, and I was like, okay, what's this? And then Tim from Shadow Kingdom really spun it to be for us to be part of that, where I feel like eventually we're going to transcend that a lot if we haven't already, because I'm not exactly super geared on Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. I'm more looking at, like, when am I going to be like Journey? You feel me? Or or something of that, because I feel like the departure from, even though you'll hear on the new record there's fast songs, there's slow songs. I don't really like to get, like, really stuck into one thing, and maybe that's something I do have in common with Judas Priest. Definitely not vocally. I'm not. I play guitar at the same time, so I have to really limit myself in a lot of ways because of that. I got to think about that when I write my songs, because I'm like, fuck, you can't breathe. You don't breathe. You know, like when you're a guitar player, singer, I can look at a guy like James Hetfield or Dave Mustaine, and those dudes probably could do a lot more shit if they didn't have a guitar strapped to them. You know, it's definitely harder. You're putting yourself. There's dudes like Olaf from Enforcer that pulls it off pretty well, but I can even tell when I go see them, when I've seen them play, that it's hard. You know, you could feel the strain because of the lack of breath, you know. So, but Judas Priest really had a very changeable career. You go to their early stuff and it's like hippie kind of, you know, and they evolved a lot, and I really did. I really enjoy that band for that reason, where I feel like a band like Iron Maiden never evolved at all. It's just like, boom, one thing, and that's kind of just what they did. So nothing wrong with that either, because the safe is always fun. You know, always fun. You know, I don't feel like that's like a negative thing to say at all, because fun is great, and I've always had fun at Iron Maiden shows. You know, I always have, and I like their works, but I mean, obviously, like, as time moved on, I don't think I got I wasn't as into them after a while, because they didn't evolve enough for me, I guess, maybe, or I don't know. I'm always searching for, like, that next thing that I want to do. So, be it a different band or whatever, I can kind of swim through that. I'm not so stuck on one thing, I guess. Like, when I feel like the well has dried up, I'll do something different. I also have been getting into engineering and producing other bands, young bands from LA and bands from California that don't have any money, so I could just record them here and help them get their start. That's kind of another goal of mine that I have.
Oh, very cool.
So I'm really, like, traversing a lot of area just for the love of music, man. Just for the love of it.
Yeah.
The continuation of music is super important.
Sure, awesome. Yeah, you mentioned earlier too about you brought up your father, who's obviously, like I said, a very successful musician himself over the years. He's played on that iconic, self-titled Montrose album, which is a proto metal staple. He was on all those Sammy Hagar records. He played on a couple of Van Morrison records in the '70s. So tell us a bit about what that was like, being related to such a successful and accomplished musician. I mean, did you have many interactions at all with a lot of those iconic musicians while you were growing up?
I mean, it was that all happened when I was really young, and then my dad just, like, when Sammy left for Van Halen, my dad just played in local Bay Area bands after that. What he tells me as an adult, he's like, I didn't want to be away from you. And now being a dad, I get it. Because my dad isn't Sammy Hagar. You know what I mean? He's the bass player. He's that guy. So, the amount of money that bass players make, you could go work a normal-ass job. So, and be home, with your family.
Sure.
And so that was really important to my dad. He was offered jobs with Ted Nugent, Night Ranger, all kinds of bands, and he didn't go. So I don't blame him. I fucking hate Ted Nugent. I don't like his shit at all. I don't get it, like, ever. I can't do it, and I definitely don't like his persona. I've met him, and I'm just like, no. I really like Sammy, though. I really do. I think Sammy's a pretty rad, interesting guy. So I would say Sammy is the only really big, huge celebrity that kind of has impacted me as my whole life. And he's a different character. I don't like his new stuff either. I think his new shit is terrible. I'll say that openly to him, like, bro, the fuck's happened to your shit? But again, the well runs dry, man.
He's getting older,
He's 75.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if he didn't spend his time drinking and doing the things he does, sometimes maybe his songs would be stronger.
Good point.
That's my personal opinion, because when you got the time to be productive and you really are focused on it, you're gonna come out with some good shit. I still feel like Judas Priest's last record was really great.
Sure.
For their age, fuck.
Oh, you're right.
There's lots of them. Even Metallica, even though they catch a lot of heat, I think Metallica's biggest problem is they just all try to write lyrics, and they all try to do this collaborative thing where back in the day, James was writing most of the lyrics and all the shit that was tight. You let Lars Ulrich you let your drummer start writing your lyrics, I mean, is James behind the kit going, bro, let me do this. Let me show you how to do this roll, But I get it, because again, those kind of things are where, the emotions we were talking about of having a unit like that, where you can't put a wall up anymore.
Right.
That's where I want to be. I want to be able to put up a wall and be like, hey, just let me do my thing. This is what I want to do. This is my thing. This has been my focus from day one. I've been the main guy, the main songwriter. You guys look to me for everything that we do. Let me just navigate this and let me enjoy myself. Because life is all about enjoy. If you don't enjoy what you're doing and you can't have fun doing it, it's not going to be pure. You're not going to have a real thing. When there's stress involved, it becomes unfun. And when it becomes unfun, guess what I do? I jump ship.
Yep.
And I jumped ship on Beastmaker because it became unfun because of the industry.
Right.
I mean, fucking 3 years in, I'm broker than I've ever been. And then, like, having to work 50 hours a week was really hard for me. I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, this fucking sucks. Like, something's got to give.
Right.
And then when Haunt just I wrote some shit for Haunt, and then boom, all of a sudden, like, I have this new project that's, like, gaining momentum, and I don't have, even though I got out of my contract with Rise Above Records with Beastmaker, it still was flawed. There was still flaws to it that I didn't want anymore. Like, I didn't want to be a part of the doom metal scene at all. Zero. I never really did in the first place. I just wanted to do old school heavy metal. And it seemed like I was getting really, like, I couldn't break away from that. And I was like, this is never going to work for me. Not a guy like me, where I have a million different ideas happening. You know, I still do. But with Haunt, I told myself, I was like, don't let that happen. Just put whatever. I have this new rule that I did when I started Haunt, was like, no song left behind. Just write whatever you want, put it out. And if it stinks, it stinks. If it's great, it's great. Because you don't know the artist. If you're an artist and you think you know what song is the best song, you're a fool.
Right. No question.
I
Well,
can say that open.
They definitely have a lot to choose from here from you, man. So I'll tell you what, man. Why don't we wrap this up? Why don't you pick a song from Haunt and tell us a real quick story about it to wrap this interview up.
Well, my favorite song on Mind Freeze is the song Voyager. I kind of like stumbled upon this this arpeggio style guitar riff, which is the verse, and that's something that I didn't get an idea from anybody else before. It was just really unique, I feel. And that song specifically really brought a lot to my catalog, I feel. I'm like, now I have multiple different techniques now that I use to write my music. So I would say Voyager off Mind Freeze really has a lot of heart to it and a lot of soul, and that'll be the one I would pick to kind of sum up where I'm at.
All right, well, let's play a little bit of it right now. This is Haunt, right here on Aftershocks.
Thanks for listening to Aftershocks. For more episodes, go to our website at www.aftershockspodcast.com. Visit us on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for more news and information on the podcast. And be sure to subscribe, listen to, and review all episodes on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other podcast platforms. For your music listening pleasure, visit our website or go to www.shockwavesradio.com. For all comments and questions, please email us at info@aftershockspodcast.com.